And Filmmaker Sports is on location in Santa Paula, California. We're going to show you some of the world of the aerobatic superstars. So come with us and see the world of the aerobatic superstars. The art of aerobatics evolved about 70 years ago when the Russian pilot Andrei Nazarov performed the first loop. Then came many other pioneers like Lincoln Beachy and Glenn Curtis in California and Claude Farman in France. Most people think of aerobatics as stunts performed strictly at air shows by rather flimsy-looking biplanes. But the serious business of flying a fighter plane wartime employed aerobatics as a means of getting on your opponent's tails. With us today is our first aerobatic superstar, Bob Herendeen, a TWA captain and a two-time U.S. National Aerobatic Champion who's competed in the World Championships 3 times, bringing home a silver and a bronze medal. Bob, I understand you just missed out winning the World Championship in London.
Well, almost is not good enough. It was all going good when my engine quit. I lost by 139 points out of a total of 13,000 points.
Well, that was tough luck. I understand you had a crack-up back in 1971.
Yes, I hit the ground during low flying practice for an air show, and I broke a few bones, and it laid me up for a while. Competition flying is hard work, and it takes a lot of time away from your livelihood, and that's why I gave it up.
Bob, will you show us the basics of aerobatics?
Practically all the aerobatic maneuvers are composed of variation of 3 basics: the loop, the roll, and the stall spin. All beginning aerobatic pilots have to practice and perfect these maneuvers.
Promise to be gentle with me, Bob?
Allow me to demonstrate basics. First is the loop. It requires a good entry speed, like 170 in this airplane, then a steady pullback on the stick, watching the horizon to keep your wings level and pull it over the top, watching for the earth to appear over your head, then pull on through to level flight.
Whoa! Wow! That's fantastic, Bob.
Next is a relatively simple barrel roll. Little extra airspeed, pull up, using aileron and rudder to keep it coordinated, and on around to level flight.
Wow!
The stall spin is easy too. Slow on this maneuver with power off. Hold the nose up above the horizon until she shudders and shakes. Then when the nose breaks, full rudder and stick back, she'll spin, that's for sure. To recover from the spin, stick forward with opposite rudder until rotation stops, then pull out to level flight, and that's it.
Thanks a lot. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's do it again.
That's the basic 3 maneuvers. All else that you will see in this film is a combination of those.
All I can say is, wow! Aerobatics can be performed in all kinds of airplanes, besides this custom-built pit special that Bob flies. Big airplanes like this tri-motor Ford, way back from 1932, as well as small ones. And would you believe it? Some helicopters can be looped.
course, there are the flight demonstration teams.
Some of these early models could have got off the ground and flown very long. Even they might have been used for aerobatics.
There goes Duane Cole, one of the many aerobatic superstars who spends so much time on his back, he has his name painted upside down on his clipped wings for tailorcraft. Duane is a two-time national aerobatic champion. The best-known military fighter plane in World War II is this P-51 built by North American Aviation. The best-known precision flight demonstration pilot is Bob Hoover, and he's been demonstrating the P-51 ability since 1942. Bob Hoover is known as the pilot's pilot.
So I guess if I could say any one thing gives me an advantage over other people is the fact that I've been doing it for a great many years, and I can find some familiarity with almost any machine that I happen to fly. This old Mustang's been around for a long time, as all of you know. It was originally designed back in 1940, and it's changed only a very small amount since then. There were many different models in World War II days, but this particular bird was manufactured in 1944, and it is still one of the fastest airplanes in the world. Its speed is, in a dive, 505 miles an hour. And the drag rise doesn't really get steep until I have that speed. And it's a function of the laminar flow design, which means that the flow patterns off of the wing from the air give it a better flow distribution off of the trailing edge than other designs, and therefore a higher critical speed before encountering compressibility.
Flying airplanes, and especially flying aerobatics in air shows, has a real macho image. So we women get a kick out of seeing one of the weaker sex handling an airplane just as well as the men. Enter Debbie Gary. She has a unique air show act, flying the unmodified Balanka, which is a family-type airplane. Through most of the maneuvers we're used to seeing at air shows throughout the country.
Airplane which I fly in air shows is the Balanka Super Viking, powered by a 300 horsepower Continental engine. The airplane is basically a stock Viking. I do a full 12-minute aerobatic routine in it. I do the loop, 4-point hesitation roll, hammerhead stalls. I fly an inverted flight. I do an Immelman turn and then slow the airplane up and spin it out of the Immelman. I do a very wide range of aerobatic maneuvers. The top speed that I ever need to use is 200 miles an hour. The lowest speed that I ever use is stalling speed as I'm kicking it into the spin.
Debbie Gary, aerobatic superstar. Airshow fans will recognize Art Scholl as the king of airshow pilots. Art flies his unique customized 260 horsepower Chipmunk in airshows from coast to coast and has flown flight exhibitions in many foreign countries. Art was the U.S. National Aerobatic Champion in 1973 and has been a member of the U.S. World Aerobatic Team 4 times.
I watched a big yellow surplus Stearman to get my first airplane ride, and then right around in 1950 I started flying, and in 1951 I got my private pilot's license. Really, there are a number of reasons why all of us fly. The real dedicated pilots fly because we just love flying. We enjoy flying. We become part of that airplane, and in becoming part of the airplane, it's just a great feeling.
One of Art's specialties is the extremely dangerous inverted flat spin, which he performs in his pits.
A flat spin is a maneuver where the airplane is absolutely uncontrollable, but when we're flying aerobatic maneuvers, the flat spin is a maneuver that some pilots accidentally get into. There are very few pilots in the world that attempt to do flat spins because normally the aircraft don't modify them.
Art also does aerial filming of specialty scenes like this for movies and television. Art Scholl, airshow pilot.
Another unique airshow act is Joe Hughes, his 650 horsepower Super Stearman, and his wing walker, in this case 19-year-old Donna Barron.
Donna is an accomplished gymnast, and I would imagine that that would be a plus when you're holding on to this roaring, vibrating giant of an airplane while Joe is seemingly doing his best to shake you off.
The World Aerobatic Competition, also known as the Aerial Olympics, are the ultimate goals of all competitive aerobatic pilots. To get on your country's team, you have to be a superstar.
Team to beat is, you guessed it, the Russians. The Soviets have good airplanes and superbly trained pilots, and they are very hard to beat.
One of the most popular Russian pilots is past world champion Igor Egorov, who beat me out during the championships in England.
Igor doesn't speak much English and was not allowed to say much, especially with a KGB agent acting as interpreter. In all modesty, Igor did say he always enjoyed competing against all foreigners so that the Soviets could show the world how good their pilots and airplanes were.
Igor handles the big Russian Yak-50 like it was a toy. The Yak has a 40-foot wingspan and weighs about 1,800 pounds, with an engine developing about 400 horsepower.
Igor Egorov is more friendly and outgoing than most of the Russians. He lost his title to Charlie Hillard in 1972, and of course losing is not acceptable to the Soviets. Igor was removed from flying status for 2 years after his loss. Igor Egorov, world-class aerobatic superstar. We women have have a world-class aerobatic superstar, too. The only woman to win 2 world championships and 4 gold medals, Mary Gaffney. Mary started flying at 16 and operates her own flying service and has practically all the pilot ratings possible.
Mary was filmed during her highly successful quest for the world title in 1972. We asked her how she thought she would do.
I feel like that I will be competitive and that they will know that there was a woman or 2 women from the United States competing. Just how well we do will depend on so many factors, not only our own skill and our equipment, but also there's a lot of luck involved, and hopefully we'll be lucky along with everything else and do very well.
Mary feels very relaxed when she flies competition.
Well, actually, I was very relaxed because it was a sequence that, that I've done so many times, and I had a lead, and I felt I was going into the thing that I could do best, and I was very relaxed. I hate to think what would happen if I hadn't been.
One of the world's few female aerobatic superstars. The United States has its own male world-class aerobatic superstar, Charlie Hillard, an auto dealer from Fort Worth, Texas, winner of 2 gold and 1 silver medals, and now a retired world champion. Took the world crown away from Igor Igorov during the internationals in France in 1972.
We asked Charlie how he feels about aerobatics.
Aerobatics, I consider the ultimate of flying. It's without question the hardest part of flying. It takes a lot of physical endurance. Plus, you might say there's a certain element of danger in it. Anytime you have a sport with speed and you're flying close to the ground, of course, there is a certain element of danger.
Charlie, tell us about your torque roll.
Well, the torque roll is a new maneuver that I introduced to World Championship competition. And you really get wound up doing this maneuver. You feel like the whole world's revolving around you. And when the airplane's sliding backwards, you sometimes wonder how far you're going to go. Championships, I finished 3rd and 1st, so I decided to hang it up and let somebody else try it.
That's Charlie Hillard, world aerobatic superstar.
The Czechoslovakians have always been top competitors, and the leading Czech pilot is Ivan Tuček. Ivan won the world championships held in Czechoslovakia in 1978. Ivan flies the new Supersling with a 260 horsepower Lycoming engine and the big ailerons to give it a rapid roll rate. Ivan Tuček has now retired from competition, saying he's won the best and he's tired of competing.
One of the leading younger aerobatic superstars is airline captain Leo Laudenschlager, the only pilot to be national champion 4 times in succession.
Leo Laudenschlager has competed in 3 world aerobatic contests, winning a bronze and a silver medal, and now 3 gold medals in the 1980 World Championship.
Leo built his one-of-a-kind laser monoplane, so it can be called a home build.
It started out as a Steven Zaccaro. It's since been modified many times. It's now pretty much of my own design. It's a mid-wing monoplane with a 200 horsepower Lycoming engine.
The reigning world champion aerobatic pilot.
And that's what it's like when you fly around in the heady world of the aerobatic superstar. Thanks, Bob, for helping us out, and thanks for the airplane ride. And I'm Catherine Boulay for Thrillmaker Sports, on location in Santa Paula, California. Bob, how's chances of another ride in your airplane, huh?